guys, so today I'm going to be showing you an updated version of a card trick that I had put out about a year or two ago. I think this version looks a lot better, and I hope that you guys agree. So without further ado, let's get right into the performance. So over here, we have a deck of cards that can be borrowed, can be completely shuffled. It really does not matter. So what we're going to do in this trick is I'm going to have the spectator select a card just by looking through the cards. We're not going to have them actually take out a card. So I only want this card to exist in their mind. So we're going to do this by having the spectator just take a peek at a card. Let's say they say stop at any place. This is going to be the card. I hope that you guys can see this. So this is the card. My head is turned so I cannot see, but here's the card. Go ahead and please remember that the best that you can. We're going to go ahead and lose that somewhere in the center of the pack. So that card now only exists in your mind. You guys can see it's really not near the top, it's not near the bottom or anything. And really, I could spread out the cards here. You guys could really see it is somewhere lost in the center here. So what we're gonna do for this trick is, I would normally really like to have a spectator for this trick because it would make the process a lot easier. But in this case, I do not have a spectator. So we will be using this card as the spectator, the Ace of Hearts. So I will explain what I mean by that. So this trick requires me to deal 2 piles of cards, okay? Essentially, we're gonna be eliminating one of them and keeping the other one. So whichever one the spectator points to is going to be the pile that we keep. There's no magician's choice, no equivoque going on here. Whichever pile the spectator points to is the pile that they keep, okay? So normally if I had a spectator, I would just have them point to whichever pile. But of course, I don't have a spectator and I don't want it to make it seem like I'm choosing the piles based on my decisions. So that's why we have this ace here. Whichever way the heart is going to point to is going to be the pile that we keep. So this card's not marked in any way. I can even turn my head. I don't care which way it's going. Let's say we stop here though. Let's see which way the heart is pointing. So the heart is pointing this way, which means we will keep this pile. That means we will eliminate the rest of the cards. So let's go ahead and do this a second time. I will deal the cards out into 2 piles over here. And once again, let's have the Ace of Hearts decide the fate of this trick. So let's go ahead and see which pile we're going to keep this time. Okay, looks like we're gonna keep this pile over here as well. So let's go ahead and do this one more time. We will deal the cards into 2 piles. And once again, the Ace of Hearts, I will completely randomly decide, let's see over here. And okay, once again, we choose this pile. So look at that, we've now eliminated 3 of the piles and we have landed on these cards over here. So we have all of these cards, all completely random, right? So what I would have the spectator do is I would just have them, reach in to the pile and they can just go ahead and pull out any 2 cards that they want. Let's say they pull out these 2 cards, okay? So look, everything is completely up to the spectator, right? So over here we have the 6 of hearts and the Ace of diamonds. So hopefully these weren't your cards, right? Okay, no, but these 2 cards, they do generate a number between the 2 of them, right? We have the 16, right? 1 and 6. So please go ahead and tell me what the name of your card was. So obviously I don't know, I wasn't looking, but they would go ahead and tell me the name of their card. And I say, wouldn't it be amazing if we just counted 16 cards down in the deck and we found your card? All of your decisions led to this moment right over here. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and here's the 16th card. Look, if this had been 17, it would have been the 8 of clubs. 15 would have been the 3 of spades, but 16 exactly, and we land on your card, the 9 of clubs. And that is the trick, guys. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I do think this is a much better version than the previous one. And yeah, if you guys want to learn it, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. So before I get into the method of how this trick is done, I do want to give a little bit of a disclaimer here. Before we start, I just want to say that the performance that you guys just saw is just one out of the infinite ways this trick can go. So this is one of these multiple outs type tricks. And this trick I would definitely classify as an advanced card trick. I would say this is definitely an advanced trick because you really are putting this trick in the spectator's hands, and the spectator really decides the outcome of this trick. So it's up to you as the magician to follow whatever the spectator chooses, and it's up to you to get to the selection any way that you can, any way that is feasible. This can be very daunting to some people, and I completely understand that. A few years ago, I would have never attempted a trick like this. I only stuck with tricks that were surefire, 100%, they work 100% of the time. But recently, I've been delving into more of these risk type of effects, and I've really been enjoying them. And I hope that by watching this video, if you guys are not yet enlightened to this style of jazz improv magic, I hope that I will be able to shed some light on the subject, and I hope that I will be able to inspire you guys to get more into this style of magic, because genuinely this type of magic has become my all-time favorite and my go-to. So I really hope that you guys get inspired from this video. I just wanted to give this disclaimer because I do understand that this trick is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone is going to be satisfied with the result of how this trick works, and I'm sorry if that's the case, but I will nevertheless teach it to everyone here, and I hope that you guys will be able to get something out of it. So even though this is a multiple outs trick, there is still a method to how this works. There are just multiple ways to end the trick. That's really all that's happening here. But the first half of the trick will look the same every single time. How you're gonna do this trick is you're going to have the spectator select any card, and any way that you can, you're going to control this selection to the 22nd position. So 22 cards down from the top, that's where you're gonna control this card. So the way that I did it in the performance, there's this very sneaky mathematical control. It's a very advanced thing, but if you do a perfect pharaoh, if you do a 26 by 26 pharaoh, perfect in pharaoh, just like this, what will happen is if you riffle the cards like so and have the spectator say stop, let's use the ace of spades as the spectator selection. You're going to hold a break when they say stop, and then you're gonna continue to riffle. What you're gonna do is strip out all of the outdrop cards, just like this. You're gonna strip them all out, but you're gonna maintain that pinky break in the bottom the entire time. You're gonna place all the outdrop cards that you just stripped out on top of the deck, and then you're simply going to cut the cards at the break. I really don't understand how this works, but every single time, if you do that, no matter what card they stop at, the card that they just peeked at will be in the 26th position. Don't believe me? Pause the video and count where's that ace of spades right now. It really is in the 26th position. So I do this control, and then while I finish squaring up the cards, I show the top 4 cards, and I just show, look, your card's not anywhere near the top, and it's also not anywhere near the bottom, and I show the bottom 4. And then I just take the top 4 that I just showed, and I just casually cut them to the bottom here, which will then remove 4 cards from the top, which will then place the card in the 22nd position from the top. And then I like to spread out the cards here because I do really like to show the spectator, if they think it's somewhere up here on the ends, they can really look and find that ace of spades. Oh look, it really is somewhere lost here in the center of the pile. So that is the first half of the trick. That is the surefire method for controlling the spectator's card to the 22nd position. It works every single time. You don't need to sweat that. Now here's where the risk factor starts to come in, is when you have the spectator choose the piles. So the old version of this trick, I dealt out the cards and I told the spectator to choose a side, and then essentially they're going to stick with that side for the entire trick. And if they do that, if they stick with the right side, they will end up on their card every single time. But I didn't really like that I was limiting the spectator to only choose one side. I wanted to update this trick, and I wanted it to be a completely free choice. So I played around with the ideas of what would happen if the spectator chose different piles, and I came up with these results here. All you have to keep track of is the card will always be in the right pile. If you deal out the cards from left to right, alternating, just like this, the card will always end up in this pile. And if you do this in the first round, the card will actually end up in the 16th position from the top. So the ace of spades is now currently the 16th card here from the top. That is where that card is located. All you have to do now is just keep track of this card at all times. It's very simple. One thing that makes this trick extremely easy is if this pile keeps getting chosen, the card will always remain on the right side of the table at all times. So if this gets eliminated and then this gets dealt out, in the second round, it will still be on the right side. The third round, it will still be on the right side. So every single time just know that the card will always be in this second pile over here. The only difficult thing to keep track of is the numbers. So the first round, the card ends up 16th from the top. The second round, it ends up 6th from the top. The third round, it ends up 4th from the top. And then the fourth round, it's the second card. So for the first round, just know that the spectator's card is in the second pile and it's the 16th card down. So now the spectator has a completely free choice of which pile to choose. You're actually kind of hoping that they choose the left pile, because that means you have a very easy out for the end of the trick, which means all you have to do is force the number 16 on the spectator, and then that will be the end reveal of the trick. But if they choose this pile to keep, then you will eliminate this, and now you will just have to keep track of this card one more time. But it's very simple. So just know it will always remain on the right side of the table, but now the number will change every single time. So this time the number is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now if the spectator chooses the left pile to keep and they eliminate this, you know that the card is 6 cards down. So if you put this now face up on top of the deck, these were 26 cards because this is half of the deck. So this is just 26 plus 6. The card is now 32. And then that will have to be the number that you force. So then you continue with the cards like this. And these cards do not contain the selection because now you know that the selection is in here. And now you just have the spectator choose any pile. Let's say they choose to keep this one over here. And I'm just doing a pretend version of this trick for you guys, just so that you guys can see what a potential outcome of this trick will look like. So these are the cards that I end up with. So obviously I need to force the number 32 on the spectator somehow. Now the best case scenario for me would be to have a 3 and a 2 somewhere, but I'm looking through here and I don't see that. I don't see anything happening over here. However, if I can do some quick mental math, I can see I do actually have a perfect out right here with these 3 cards on the bottom, this 8, 2, and 2. If we multiply all these numbers together, guess what number we get? We actually get 32. 8 times 2 is 16, and that times 2 would be 32. And then all you would do is place these cards on top, and then you count 32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 31 and 32, ace of spades, and then that will be the end reveal of the trick. So obviously, that is just one outcome of the trick that could happen. And I do know the exact question that you guys are asking right now. What if you have a pile of cards that you're looking through and you need to force a certain number and you just don't see anything here? There's nothing here that relates to 32 and you're lost. You don't know what to do. I would resort to addition. So I would just look through these cards. So I look for face cards first because I know that these are big numbers that I can add up. So I know that 13 plus 12 is 25. So that's a good head start. So if I can force the king and the queen and I can add these up, that's 25. I can have the spectator choose now any of these to add on to it. So if we have 25, if the 10 was chosen, then that would be great because that would be 35. I would only need to transfer 3 cards from the bottom to the top of the deck. I wouldn't even need to do a pass. I could actually just have the 3 cards over here placed on top of the deck, and then I could just count 35 and the trick would be over because adding those 3 cards on top would add 3 cards to 32. And same goes for literally any of these numbers. If they choose the 9, that's 34. If they choose the 6, that would be 31. And if they choose the 5, that would be 30. So as you can see, by adding these cards together, we do get really, really close to the number that we want. Even if it's not a dead-on hit, we can always pass 1 or 2 cards from the top or the bottom, and we can always get the card in the position that we need. So don't worry about it, because if you just add cards together, you will get there eventually. So I will give one more detailed explanation at only one more out. So when I was looking through all these multiple outs, there was one out that I was struggling with, thinking of things to do with it, but I did realize that I could actually make it pretty easy. So I'll show you what I mean. So in the 4th round of dealing and choosing cards, if they have continuously chosen the right pile and we're still using it, we now have the card, the ace of spades, in the 2nd position in the right pile over here. So if for some reason they change their mind and they want to keep this pile over here that does not contain their card, what we can do is, instead of taking these and eliminating them face up on top, which will place the card all the way on the bottom of the deck here, which will be the 48th position, what we can do instead is when we pick up this pile to eliminate it, we actually just take the entire deck and turn it face down and then place it on top. What that will do is it will place the card in the 2nd position from the top. And this is perfect because if you're good at second dealing, you can then take these 3 cards and add the values up together. You get 3 plus 4 plus 4, you get 11. What you can do now is second deal your way to 11. So you can go 1 and then start second dealing. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. I'm not the best second dealer, but that would be an easy way to control the card as opposed to trying to force 48 out of this crazy mess over here, which you literally can't do because this is 4 times 4 times 3. God damn it. That's so funny. What the hell? So as you can see, you can get really lucky and things can just magically happen for you and it will make the trick work perfectly. So you really never know what could happen. Honestly, the best outcome for this trick would be the spectator choosing the right pile every single time because they choose the right pile, they choose the right pile, they choose the right pile, they choose the right pile. You're down to 3 cards and then you have them choose the right pile again. You're left with 2 cards. So if you're down to 2 cards in the end, one of these will be the spectator's card if they continuously choose the right side. All you have to do is just equivocate, force this 1 card over here. All you have to do is just say slide 1 card forward or slide 1 card back. Whichever one they do, you're just gonna end up with this card in the end. So that would be honestly the best outcome of this trick, but turning this into an interesting card at any number type of effect makes it also pretty fooling and pretty entertaining as well. So I do hope that I explained everything the best that I could. If I left something out, I'll be sure to write it down in the comment section below just so that I can fully inform you guys on everything you need to know. But so far, this is all I can think of. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and write them in the comments down below. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this trick and hopefully I opened your eyes to this new style of magic. It's not a new style of magic, but it might be new to some people. And I really hope that you guys get a kick out of it and I hope you guys try it out. So let me know what you guys think and see you guys next time. Bye.